By March, most people already feel behind in their goals. That's because, first of all, January starts with a lot of excitement, motivation. February comes with some kind of pressure, and then by March, they just give up. This is not because these businesses or these business owners do not want success. This is just because they started on a wrong footing. They started with motivation, and motivation cannot pull you through the year. You need structure, you need clarity, and in this video, I'll be explaining to you everything you need to know about why your business goals fail early, what causes them, and how to actually handle this problem. The first reason why your goals fail early is because you start with motivation and not structure. This is because normally January comes with that new year feeling that, oh, I can do everything, and you are just motivated. So that motivation causes you to be like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to hit this target. But then now you do not start with structure. So it means that all of these goals that you really want to achieve, you do not even put structure to be able to support them. That's why when that January excitement and that January motivation starts fading, you start feeling like, but am I really going to be able to do this thing? That is because you started with motivation, not discipline. You started with motivation and not structure. You assume that your energy is going to be the same. You're going to keep having high energy, but you forget that life also comes with its own challenges, it comes with its own realities. And when planning for the year, you equally need to factor that in so that it does not feel like, well, what's happening, because you do not factor in all the necessary things that can be able to come in and make a little change. And because you do not do that, you now feel all of a sudden it just comes like boom, and you're like, but how am I going to get this done? Because there was no structure. This is one of the main things that causes you to already start feeling with regards to the goals that you set for your business. Number two is clarity. The problem is you start with, oh, I want to grow my business this year. My business has to be big this year. That is very, very, very vague. And that is why before you want to get to the month of March, you have even forgotten the targets that you set for yourself because those goals are not clear. Let me give you a proper example of what a clear goal looks like. And that's the kind of goal that is going to help you to actually go through the months and eventually the year while actually working on those goals. So, in the case of your business, an example can be, I hit 50 million in sales by the 31st of December. This is a clear goal. It is smart. So it is specific, it is measurable, it is attainable based on the level at which your business is. You know how to set those targets, and it is reachable and time bound because you know that by the end of the year, by December, you need to have hit that target. But now it does not end there. It's good to be clear on that business goal. But the most important thing is to break the goal down because when you have a very big goal, it kind of like it becomes overwhelming because you're like, today passes and you make no sale, and then you start thinking, my God, am I really going to be able to hit that target of 50 million at the end of the year? That is why it's important to break your goals down, to break it to monthly, weekly, and daily. It helps actually reduce that overwhelm because you are no longer thinking about that big business goal of 50 million at the end of the year, but now you're thinking about what is the tiny thing that I'm going to do this week. So I'll just take a random example. You have an actual amount that you want to hit at the end of the year. So you know you break it down. To make it easy, let me just take 12 million. You break it down now. Okay, if I'm supposed to make 12 million by the end of the year, it means that each month I should at least make 1 million. So you break it down further, it means that each week I should at least make 250, 250, 250, 250. So my weekly target is that I'm going to make 250 in sales in the week so that by the end of 4 weeks, I'm going to have been able to hit a target of 1 million. There's a way of breaking down your goal where you do 10% in the first quarter, 20% in the second quarter, 30% in the third quarter, and 40% in the fourth quarter. Because you know that the way you start, you don't just start like with momentum at the same time. But I think that I'm going to explain this further in another video. Let's just stick to what I'm trying to talk about now, which is actually being able to break down your goal. So it means that you're no longer, like I said, your weekly target is going to be 250,000 francs in sales. So it means that it's like you forget about that 50 million that you spoke about to hit by the end of the year, and now you're focusing on the 250,000 francs for that week, and that should be your main focus. Your goal is clear, you've broken it down, and you know what you're working on for that exact week. It helps you to actually follow through instead of just giving yourself a vague goal. I want to increase my revenue this year. Obviously, you're going to slack on that because there's no clarity to it. Let's take a quick break so that I can talk to you guys about the Goal Digger Planner. The Goal Digger Planner is a 6-month undated planner that's going to serve as your accountability partner, is going to serve as that thing that's going to help you to track your progress. It's a whole set. It comes with a planner, a notebook, a pen, a habit tracker sheet. So head over to our website, gotogetbyk.com, and grab yourself a set. Now let's get back to our conversation. Another issue is unrealistic timelines. Some people give themselves very, very unrealistic timelines, and that's why when that time finally reaches and then that thing is not visible, you start feeling like, it means I'm not going to be able to do this thing. And then you slack, but you forget that sometimes things don't just take off from the get go. So you need to be willing to learn, to try, to adjust before you eventually get the system that is really working for you. And that is going to take up some time at the beginning. But now the problem is when you start and eventually you're not seeing that things are rolling in the way you really wanted them to roll in, you start feeling like, oh, this is not possible, oh, I cannot do this, and then you start slacking on those goals that you set for yourself. But always, always bring yourself back to reality, and always, always set realistic timelines. It goes back to the aspect of always having smart goals so that you know that, okay, this is a season in which I'm in, so this is a type of target that I should set for myself. And then now you follow through with it, and it releases again that stress that you would have initially put on yourself if you were just like, no, I must do this, I must do this. Meanwhile, it is not realistic in regards to the season in which your business is, or in regards to the season in which you personally are in. So what you should do differently now is that you should assess your capacity before setting a goal. You look at your environment and yourself. What season are you in? So that you can be able to set goals that are actually going to be able to work with that season in which you are. And then make sure to take little steps every day. Every day you know that you're supposed to do this particular small thing that is going to move the needle for your business. Of course, it requires that you build consistency and discipline. But the only way you can build a habit is if you try over and over and over. It's something that you learn. So discipline is still a habit that you learn because you need to always push yourself every day to actually get those things done. One important aspect as well is to always, always do a review. At the end of the week, you do a review. What is working? What is not working? So that early on, you already correct the things that are maybe slowing you down or causing you to slack instead of going for a long period of time before you sit down to review. You may now discover that over this period of time, there's something that has been slowing us down and making us slack, but we did not identify it earlier on because we're not doing those weekly reviews all the time to assess how things are working, what's good and what's not. So that's a very, very important aspect to equally keep you on the track of working on your goals and not letting your goals fail early in the year. Now, I want to say that when you struggle with your goal, it does not mean that you are lazy or anything like that. It just means that you started with so much optimism, but with little or no structure. And when that happens, eventually you become disappointed in yourself because you're like, but I wanted to do this, what's happening? So always, always bring yourself down, calm down, put in some structure, bring in some clarity in the thing, into the things that you really want to do. One very, very important aspect, comparison. Don't compare. You are on your own lane and this other person is on their own lane. You don't know what season they are in. So you can see that, okay, this is going like this for them. Why is it not going like this for me? Always, always, always call yourself back to order and cancel any comparison. No to comparison. Cancel it because you need to always consciously remind yourself that everybody is on their own lane. They're in different seasons in their lives, so you cannot compare that. Okay, but my own is like this. Why is this person own is like this? Focus on what you're supposed to do and put in the work and keep working day in, day out on that goal that you've set for yourself. If this video gave you clarity, please like, share, leave a comment, If you have any questions, feel free to comment in the comment section. And of course, share this video with that your business friend that you know is going to help them in one way or another. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys in my next video. Don't forget that this is an ongoing business series, so it is in your best interest to check out the previous videos where I talk about how to start a business, how to market your business, how to structure your business. All of these things are definitely going to help you. So see you guys in the next video. Ciao.